Most founders dream of disrupting an industry, but this founder already did, and now they're building something new, something bold and highly disruptive. Think along the lines of Palantir. We're hiring a chief of staff, and I'm on the lookout for a highly ambitious ops professional with a track record scaling tech unicorns. Think Immutable, Airwallex, Atlassian, Canva. You'll get extra points if you've scaled a highly ambitious tech startup from early stage to global expansion. What's on offer? Well, it's something unique in Aussie tech startup land. You'll be a founding team member, but it will come with a competitive base and equity package. This startup is revenue generating with product market fit already achieved. You'll work with highly impressive founders and investors who have huge ambition for global domination. If you've scaled ops in a tech unicorn and you're ready to be part of a founding team, this is a conversation you definitely have to make happen. Let's talk. You can reach me, Dexter, at tier1people. Hey guys, welcome back. It's Dexter from Tier 1 People, and welcome to another one of my weekly insights. This week, I want to talk about job seekers and what I'm seeing as a bit of a silent crisis. But before I get into this, if you're new to the show, make sure you follow us on your favorite podcast player. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you give us a like and subscribe. Do you want to know what keeps me up at night after 25 years in recruitment? It's not the hard to fill roles. It's not the skills shortage. It's watching human beings, good qualified, talented people, literally break under the weight of just trying to get a job. We talk endlessly about employee burnout. There are think pieces, wellness programs, mental health days, but there's a crisis happening that nobody's naming, and it's happening before people even get hired. According to the latest research, roughly 2/3 of job seekers are experiencing burnout from their job search. Let that sink in. 2 out of every 3 people looking for work are already burned out before they start. There's a perfect storm, and it's what me and my recruitment colleagues have been noticing this year in particular. We're seeing a much higher degree of stress and health-related dropouts from roles. And when we started comparing notes, we realized this isn't isolated, it's systemic. Think about what the average person has endured between March 2020 and March 2025. Australia experienced substantial price increases, with basic necessities, food, healthcare, housing, utilities, rising up to 36%. That's on top of 2 years of COVID disruption that fundamentally changed how we work, how we live, and how we relate to each other. A record half of all Australians are now reporting elevated cost of living and personal debt distress. Among individuals who rated their financial circumstances as poor, their self-reported mental health was significantly lower than the national average, at 5.3 out of 10 compared to 2. Financial stress and mental health aren't separate issues. They're intertwined in a vicious cycle. Now let's talk about what it actually takes to get a job in 2025. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics data, seekers can expect job seekers can expect their job hunt to take almost 6 months on average. And a recent report showed that the average job seeker had to send 294 job applications before landing a job. That's a 14% increase from 2023. Think about that. Nearly 300 applications, 6 months. Research shows it takes 10 to 20 applications to secure one interview, and you need 12 interviews per offer. That's 180 applications for one job offer. Let's say you spend 45 minutes on each application. That's 75 hours of unpaid labor, equivalent to 2 full work weeks. The percentage expecting to secure employment within 3 months dropped from 61% to 56%. There's something else we need to talk about honestly. The job numbers look okay on paper. We hear about job growth, but let me tell you what we're seeing on the ground. Public sector jobs surged by 164,000 in 2024, nearly 3 times the increase of 2023, while the private sector has struggled to create jobs for 2 years. Between June 2023 and June 2024, the number of public sector employees rose by 3.6%, with state government employment increasing to 1.9 million employees. That's a lot of government advertising. Unfortunately, there aren't any government jobs in Fintech. So if you're looking in that industry or even in the private sector, no wonder you're finding it difficult to find a job. Pressure does lead to candidates demonstrating what I can only call odd behavior. I want to be clear here, I'm not judging, I'm observing. When someone is under that much stress, financial, emotional, psychological, things slip. They miss interviews. They accept offers and then ghost. They become defensive in interviews. They overshare or undershare. They send inappropriate follow-ups. They're irritable, scattered, sometimes even hostile. Research shows that 1 in 4 employees say they've considered quitting their jobs due to mental health concerns. And 7% actually did quit. Now imagine that level of mental health crisis before someone even has a job to quit. And here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Whilst you might not like it, this behavior under pressure becomes evidence. It becomes part of the interview assessment. Which brings us to another uncomfortable reality. Over 70% of employers now use social media to research potential candidates before making hiring decisions. And 54% of employers have eliminated candidates based on their social media feeds. The most common reasons for disqualifying a candidate include inappropriate content at around 50%, discriminatory comments at 37%, and a negative attitude towards employers at 33%. Today in 2025, most evidence to assess a candidate's suitability is being collected outside of the interview room. That stressed out rant about your last employer you posted at 11 p.m. on a Sunday evening, it's been seen. That comment thread where you let your frustration show, screenshotted. That slightly off-color joke, noted. According to a 2023 survey, 73% of hiring managers use social media to evaluate applicants, and notably 85% said they've rejected candidates because of something they found online. Now let's zoom out for a moment. This isn't just about recruitment, it's about a broader crisis. New research reveals that 82% of employees are at risk of burnout in 2025, marking a significant escalation from previous years. On Glassdoor reviews, the share of reviews mentioning burnout has increased 32% year over year as of Q1 2025, bringing it to its highest level since data collection began in 2016 and 50% higher than before COVID-19. And here's what terrifies me. The generational divide in burnout has widened dramatically, with Gen Z and millennial workers reporting peak burnout at just 25 years old, a full 17 years earlier than the average American who experiences peak burnout at 42. At 25 years old, you haven't even had a chance to build a career yet, and yet people are already burned out. For Australian job seekers specifically, the picture is particularly stark. This is the first time in Mission Australia's youth survey history that financial pressure has featured as the top concern of young Australians, with 56% citing cost of living as their primary concern, more than doubling in the last 2 years. The ABS has found that 194,000 people between the ages of 15 to 24 work more than one job, the highest it has ever been. More than 1/3 of respondents identified cost of living pressures to have negatively impacted their mental health either quite a bit or an extreme amount over the last year. And an alarming 97% of young Australians reported feelings of worry, anxiety, or pessimism in the past 12 months. So what does all this mean for recruitment and for hiring, for how we assess candidates? Almost 89% of employees say it's a problem when job seekers drop out of job searches or don't show up for the first day. It's frustrating for sure, but we need to understand why this is happening. Most people will say it's entitlement or laziness, or it's just the kids these days. But maybe it's burnout, maybe it's financial trauma, and maybe it's the cost of living crisis on top of a 2-year disruption in COVID that's created a 5-year perfect storm of psychological damage that we're only now beginning to see the full impact of. When you're reviewing candidates who seem a bit off, maybe a little scattered, who sent a follow-up email with a typo or missed a callback, before you write them off, ask yourself what might they be dealing with. Maybe they're on application number 247. Maybe they're 3 months into a 6-month search. Maybe they're choosing between groceries and medication. Maybe their mental health score is 5.3 out of 10 because their financial situation is rated at 2 out of 10. I'm not saying they should lower our hiring standards. I'm not saying this behavior doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is that we need to understand the context we're operating in. In 26 years of recruitment, I've never seen a greater divide between the expectations of an employee and an employer. And I haven't even talked about the impacts of AI yet. We'll leave that for another show. Thanks for listening. As always, you can follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter. If you're new to the show, make sure you follow us wherever you listen to podcasts or Fintech Chatter TV on YouTube. I will be next week doing a series on how to find your next role. And we're going to be covering some concepts that I'm hoping are going to be very, very familiar to you around go-to-market strategy, product market fit, first principles thinking. People who've applied this have been able to find their next role within 90 days. So hopefully that will help. Until the next episode, keep well.